Hello everybody, we are here with your Sylvanus support guys. So we're going to be grabbing ourselves our tier 2 boots.
I gotta put in a big
our chalice of healing, and then of course you can grab the hand of the gods here to help out with your clear on that purple buff. So it's all nice and ready for your ADC when they arrive. And we're going to get ourselves a blink here. Blink pretty typically the first active that you're going to be grabbing on support. Really helps with your early game ganks, helps you utilize that ulti, and also especially for the late game initiations on a god like Sylvanus. The reason why we grab those tier 2 boots first is so that we get to level 2 a little bit faster in the lane, because we are going to want to eventually go benevolent. But benevolence does have that 90% of XP gold reward that actually could screw up you getting level 2 in the lane. So we start with the boots. We're going to finish the boots up, and then we get that benevolence second, so it doesn't goof with our XP. Level 1, we're going to be grabbing our root. This is going to help us a little bit with our early game clear. We're going to give over that purple buff to the Hachi, although there is the option on Sylvanus of grabbing the purple buff yourself for the additional attack speed, because you do have those AoE autos. But now I should get the level 2 here, which means I can go quite aggressive onto this and her, just like the Hachi. I have grabbed my pull second. Hopefully we can just finish him without even the need to go for it. We're going to be able to. I'm going to go for the pull on Cerberus. Going to pull him right back into it, so then I can root him right on down. And we can get very, very aggressive in this lane already. I'm going to back up immediately because we get ourselves an early kill, which means I can actually back up and grab myself that reinforced Greaves right off the bat. Reinforced Greaves has been nerfed. They took 10% CCR off of it, but it is still the go-to boot for your supports. You have the options of some other boots. Like, I don't hate the idea of cooldown boots on Sylvanus for like more healing and stuff, but particularly on the gods that are immobile, like Sylvanus and Ymir, the extra defenses early is very literally a life changer. So I would stick to those reinforced Greaves until a day when maybe like Talaria gets buffed or something, and maybe you can utilize that movement speed as well. So level 3, we're going to grab ourselves our Wisps, and this is actually going to be the ability that we max out first. We get it third if we're playing aggressive, right? Because I wanted to pull for the damage. And we get it second if we're playing defensively. No point to have your pull if you're just kind of sitting back and waiting for the minions anyway. But we're going to level up that Wisp first, because not only does it increase the healing that we get, it also increases the protection gained, which is going to factor right into the Sylvanus type build that we're going to run. On Sylvanus, we like to run a big aura build, so we can give out a bunch of protections on Sylvanus. Looks like Cerberus actually tried to jump in front of Anher, thinking he was going to get pulled right there. So now I can just come over to this purple buff for free. I can actually take this purple, and we can go right at this Cerberus. Gonna go ahead and root him. He might try to jump away. Yes, he does. I'm gonna go for the pull. Gonna yoink him right back over into this fight, and we might just be able to kill the Cerberus because of that pull. And it looks like we are going to be able to. Now I'm gonna head back towards our purple. How about the Hachi? And then I want to back immediately, because I gotta get that benevolence online to start getting some of those passive gold XP distribution stats going for my team. So we can now get ourselves that benevolence. Also helps, of course, out with the MP5, HP5, and grab a couple of awards. And now I'm heading right over to the mid lane. Generally, when you're finishing the benevolence is about the time that you're gonna leave the dual lane. Once it's kind of online, you can start heading over to mid lane, start helping out there, going for ganks. Now, it's not like you're not gonna go back to the dual lane ever, but you're gonna be kind of walking back and forth between lanes, being a little bit more fluid in your positioning. So for our official level order on Sylvanus, we grabbed the 1, then the 3, but we are gonna go 2, 4, 1, 3. So we're gonna max out the Wisp first. Then we're gonna get our ultimate. Ultimate just increases the damage by a little bit. Then we're gonna go back and we're gonna do our 1, and then we're gonna grab our 3. All the pull does is -1 second on the cooldown. The 1 gives us a little bit more burst damage, also gives us those protection reduced on the pod as well, and it also reduces the cooldown on top of that. So that is why on Sylvanus we go 2, 4, 1, 3. So like I said earlier, our goal on Sylvanus above all else is going to be to provide auras to our team to keep them alive. So we are going to be going into a Thebes, right into a Lotus Crown. So Thebes and Lotus Crown make perfect sense on Sylvanus. 1, Thebes is just generically probably the best support item in the game. Eventually going to give you a lot of protections, which you are going to need in order to live through some of the crazy crit meta damage action that we are in right now. And then you're going to get the Lotus Crown, and the Lotus Crown pairs perfectly with Sylvanus because our Wisps are going to give out protections, right? But then Lotus Crown is going to give out bonus protections on top of that because our Wisp is a heal. So they're actually going to get those protections at the same time. So you want to be using that heal basically right when the fight is going on. So that way your team also gets a massive protection boost. I'm going to go ahead and throw down my root on Scylla. Try to pull her afterwards. No such luck. Gonna have the ulti right after this. Looks like Scylla wants to ult me pretty bad. Now that we have Scylla ult down, Cerberus ult down, I don't mind going a little bit more aggressive. Pele looks like she might try to go for me, but between my Chalice and hopefully the bonus protections from my boot and my 2 should be enough for me to stay alive there. Not that big of a deal. So our goal on the support in the early game is mostly to be finding opportunities to initiate for fights. This is why we have the blink. Gonna back up and continue working on my Thebes. So we've got the blink. I'm looking specifically on Sylvanus. The combo is just blink ult, nothing special to it. And then typically you're gonna try to wisp while they're in the air from your ulti just to get out some extra bleed damage on them. And then when they finally land from the ultimate, you throw down your 1 so that way they're rooted after the knockup and your team has another second in order to try to finish them. Now for Sylvanus pull, people are always asking, is there a secret way to just hit your Sylvanus pull? And the secret is practice, practice, practice. I'm gonna actually blink in right here towards Scylla. He tries to blink away. I'm gonna go for the pull on him. Gotta yank him right on back. We do force the beads right there, so we're not gonna quite kill him, but we do get the beads off of Scylla. Oh, actually looks like our Pele is gonna go in there and finish the kill even though he dies himself. You just gotta practice with it. Sylvanus pull is one of the stranger like animation timings in the game. As a general rule, I would say if the target knows that you're trying to pull them, pull slightly to their left or their right. You're basically just 50-50ing it. They're gonna juke to the left or the right. So just pick one and hope for the best. If they don't know that you're pulling for them, then you want to pull them more directly because they're probably not gonna sit there trying to juke you. So if they don't know you're there, try to pull right on their face. If they do know you're there, just slightly to the left or the right. They're gonna juke one of those ways. Pulling straight is basically, like pulling right out of target, basically never works if they know you're pulling because they're gonna try to move.
You're on fire!
Unless they hit you with the no juke, but that's a rare shiny Pokemon right there. So my goal right now is just to get enough gold for my Thebes and to try to provide some fights for my Merlin if I ever see somebody kind of by themselves. Like if Scylla's gonna be up by herself, but then Cerberus comes in, so now I need to peel back for my Marlin. You can also throw down some plants to give some MP5 to your team. Sometimes Sylvanus like to go around and like throw trees underneath like the tier 1 tower, so you can like sit in the range of this and your mid laner get some MP5. Honestly, it's not that big of a deal either way. If it makes you feel better, if it makes you feel like you're having more of an impact on the game, go for it. That's fine. You can use those for those MP5 procs on your team. The bigger deal is eventually when the enemy team tries to destroy them, they will get that minus protection debuff on them, which is quite nice. Now I can get my thieves going, so I'm going to back up because I want to get that going pronto. And I'm also going to make sure that I'm now buying a sentry ward on pretty much every single back that we are going to do. So they're rocking triple physical damage this game, double magical. They don't have a lot of healing. They do have a little Pele sustain. They've got some AMA sustain, but not a ton of healing. So I probably am going to do a Lotus Crown into a Sovereignty. That Sovereignty going to give my team even more physical protections, which is the majority of the damage that they're doing, plus some additional HP 5, just for that healing, especially when we're grouped up out of combat. Gonna throw down a nice aggressive ward here top right. Our Pele is just going in over on the right hand side. I am gonna look over here. I don't know if the Cerberus is still gonna be around, so I'm just gonna go for like a random pull through the wall just to see if he was trying to back or something. Now we're into leveling up our 1 for that little bit of bonus damage in the CDR. For our matchup on Sylvanus, we really do not like a whole lot of things, which is why you don't see Sylvanus a lot right now. I would say Sylvanus is a solidly balanced support. He's not bad, but he's not great. So you're not gonna like see people, you know, fighting over him to pick him or anything like that. He's very okay. I would say that he probably thrives in the later game stage team fights, with a small bonus as well to his ultra early game. So like his like level 1, 2, 3 can be quite strong because of the AoE autos to help clear the wave. And then he typically drops off for a little bit until the ultra late stage of the game, where he just starts giving out mad protection to the team. So right off the bat, obviously, we don't want to go against guys that have a lot of anti-healing built into their kit. Cerberus is a great example of this. Cerberus, by default, has basically a pestilence built into his kit. So we would prefer not to go against a Cerberus because he's already making our healing that much less effective for the rest of the team. Gonna quickly go look over here and left just in case Anhur is here. Maybe put some quick pressure on him. Doesn't look like I'm gonna find him. Then we also don't like going against walls. We have no way to get over walls unless we want to go ahead and use our blink. So guys like Ymir and Thor and Yamoja all tend to give us a lot of problems because we have no way. It's really hard to position yourself on Sylvanus. Yeah, actually went all the way in on Merlin. Unfortunate that Merlin got hit there.
Your team has destroyed a right.
If he could have avoided that route, he would have been fine and dandy. So we want to be careful with the walls, because on Sylvanus it is already so hard to position yourself. So if you go to get a character that can wall you off, it is going to be nigh impossible for you to position yourself in the correct spot. I don't actually want to get the last hits here. You don't need a teammate around in order to get Thebe sacks. The creeps just have to die. So sometimes you want to help along your little minions and get them near the last hit, so that way the minions can go ahead and finish the wave for you so you can get those Thebe stacks. And then, of course, we've got Nemesis. Nemesis is probably the bane of all supports without a movement ability. Keep your eye out for her. it's an absolute disaster when she comes for you. If you are going against a nemesis slash oftentimes on a Sylvanus, on a Ymir, on Ares, anybody without a true getaway skill, always keep in mind Winged Blade. Winged Blade should always be in the back of your mind as a potential buy option. This game, they don't actually have that many slows, so Winged Blade doesn't really make any sense. But oftentimes, you are going to be forced into a Winged Blade when you pick these characters, just so you do not get slowed to death. So against this team, I'm going to go ahead and they're not actually that tanky. They've got an AMA, they've got a Cerberus, but they're not that tanky. So I'm actually just going to grab my team a good old-fashioned Shell, really embrace that, keeping my team alive here as we get into the later stages of the game. Reminder, Shell has been changed. So that means that Shell no longer has block stacks on it. But while Shell is active, Shell is going to provide 50% less damage from auto attacks.
An ally has left the game.
So that means that you will take less damage from those crits. You just won't necessarily be stopping the crit outright from hitting you. So I'm going to head over towards right lane. Our Cucullin is pushed up pretty far, so I'm going to try to get up here with him. Looks like our Merlin is going to be coming with us. Target's going to be the AMA, so I'm going to go for a little Blinkle. Not quite going to be able to do that. Now I'm going to look towards the Cerberus, though. Looks like I should be able to pull him back towards us. Throw it down to heal. He throws down a Sunder on top of me, so I'll make sure to pop that Chalice of Healing so I can get it going. And it looks like we're going to be able to grab a double underneath this tower. Now my Cucullin has kind of gone a pretty deep way away from us, but we know that the rest of their team is actually over by the Gold Fury, so we're pretty safe over here. We might even be able to go ahead and attack this tower and take it. So I'm going to walk over towards my Cucullin, make sure he gets a little bit sustained, just in case we do get collapse on him. Here we go. Get ourselves a nice tier 2 right there, but now we need to go ahead and get ourselves right out of dodge. So I finished the Lotus Crown, so Lotus Crown is now going to give me an additional 20 physical and magical protections on top of the fact that I'm already giving out 30 protections from that. So now I'm actually giving out 50 physical and magical protections, not including the fact that I'm giving out an additional 10 physical magical protections from my Thieves. So when that heal comes out, my team has got 120 protections tankier per person, basically.
Your left tower is under attack.
This, of course, is going to pair very, very well late game when we turn our Benevolence into that Compassion, because Compassion is going to make us take and soak up damage from those around us. It's going to be reduced by 15%. But because we're making them tankier, they're actually going to be taking less damage. So we are going to be taking up a bigger proportion. We're going to be soaking up a bigger proportion of the overall damage that they are taking, which is fantastic. So at this point, I need to start looking at who is getting big on their team. It looks like it's mostly going to be Scylla that is getting pretty big. Still gonna go ahead and grab that Sovereignty for the physical protections for the team. But I'm also gonna keep in mind a magical defense item if I need it, although I would prefer to get a late game Pridven. Late game Pridven with this many protections ends up transferring super well to your own survivability, plus of course gives you more opportunities to look for initiations. Gonna throw down a little heal right now on my Merlin because he's gonna start taking damage, so I want to make sure he has those bonus protections.
Can you keep up with this,
Cucullin has no choice but to back up. They've got 5 people over here, so I need to kind of stick around in front of Merlin. That's okay. I'm gonna have to follow up with an ultimate right after this. Try to use my wisps for some more protections. Gonna stand in front of my Merlin, give him a little shell, and I'm just trying to walk right now in front of him. Unfortunately, the and her ulti combined with the Syllaroo combo is not gonna let me peel for him in the way that would have preferred, but we are getting some nice farm over in the left lane again, and we can finish up that sovereignty and now get ourselves into that last item, Pridvin, for some of those CDRs. But you can also see how much protections that I have, and this doesn't even include with that Wisp online. So if I get that Wisp online and I use that ulti, we're gonna have so many protections. I'm also getting close to level 17, so I am gonna rank up to that compassion first before I start working on that Pridvin. Fire Giant just made a nice AMA friend. So one of the hardest things about support is knowing when you should be initiating and knowing when you should be peeling, which is getting the enemy team off of your team to save your team from death. The real way that you look at it basically is if your team is getting initiated on first, you're basically strictly into peel duty, right? If somebody was out of position and they jump onto Merlin, I'm right into saving Merlin duty. I'm immediately into peeling. If you're starting the fight, chances are you're going to be initiating, so you're going to be blinking and then ulting right into them. And then after you blink ulti into them and you've set up some quick initial burst damage for your team, then you are immediately peeling back to your carries, typically going to be your mage and your hunter, and you're trying to peel for them. Now, also on top of the fact that you generically want to keep everybody on your team alive, there's also going to be somebody on your team that's a little bit more special, and you have to decide on your team who that's going to be. So this game, we have a Hachi that's level 20. So Hachi is probably going to be my priority target. If I have to choose between saving one guy or another, I'm probably going to factor in that Hachi above everybody else. You want to make sure you're saving your quote-unquote best player if you have to make those decisions.
Enemies incoming left.
Now, there's a lot of people that were looking left over towards the Hachi. I think they might try to come back mid to help out with the Cerberus. So I'm going to try to look towards the back line if at all possible for an initiation. I would love to go in for a fight right here, so I'm going to blink in with the Cucullin. Looks like Scylla's going to dash out as well. We should be able to get a nice combo here. Pele beats Force, Scylla beats Force, and now I'm going to walk right on back to my back line. Hit them with a Wisp for those bonus protections. Look for a pull, try to get the Anther back. Not quite going to be able to do it. My Hachi runs all the way in, so I try to get up in front of him. And now we are in a quite good spot, and I'm going to call for attacking Fire Giant. We've still got all 5 of us. I've got the sustain with my 2, plus we've got the sovereignty HP 5 as well. So there's actually a pretty good chance that we heal up to mostly full. I just need to make sure I come over here, pull this Fire Giant, and give one last heal out to everybody on my team, and then I'll start tanking the Fire Giant a little bit over in the corner. Cucullin should be going and mostly looking around. We've actually got some pretty good ward down. You saw him start to walk that way in order to zone anybody out that came, but we had really good ward down. The only place they could have come from is top right, and there's no way they could have even gotten there that fast. So now we're going to grab ourselves that compassion. Pridvin's pretty expensive, 900 for the first rank up, so I'm actually going to rank up my blink first, because when you rank up that blink, you do get that 10% mitigation, which can be relevant for Sylvanus if you blink in and something goes wrong with your ultimate. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that right now, and then we'll start to work on our actual final item, Pridvin. And we are going to be surprisingly tanky for a guy that's soaking up 15% of all of the damage around him. Now we have all of their tier 2 towers down, so we should be bringing ourselves over to the Gold Fury, grabbing the Gold Fury, and then shoving into the left lane. Pele's actually kind of close right here. Not going to be able to catch up to him though, so it's got to kind of let him go. So at these Phoenix fights, it's going to be mostly my job to tank the tower, but I also want to be back near my Hachi and my Merlin. So I'm probably going to be tanking the tower near the tower line. Good chance I blink in, look for that initiation right off the back like usual. then back off a little bit. My assassin and my warrior, my soul laner will probably dive farther into the backline. It's not my job to dive farther into the backline. I just start the fight. I do not chase the fight. So I started off, and then I peel back, still wanting to take the tower for my team. And then I position myself as near the Hachi and the Merlin as I can, without, of course, us getting hit by AoE abilities like a Scylla. So I'm gonna go ahead and look for the Scylla right now. Cucullin goes in, doesn't quite find it, that's okay. Cerberus is in the back, I'm gonna throw down a heal for my team. Cucullin's gonna reset it, it comes back out to me. Looks like our Pele went pretty hard in the back line, but maybe a little bit too far by herself because the soul laner did not come with her. And now we're all getting ourselves yoinked right on over here. So I need to try to peel back towards my boys. I gotta throw down a shell for myself, a little heal for myself. Scylla ults come down, all sorts of stuff. But I've got so many bonus protections right now. This is actually best case scenario. They use so much for me right there, and they didn't really find anything off of it. AMA is gonna try to come kill me, but I am way too tanky for him to kill. So I'm just gonna throw down a little root and a little pill while we get the tower in the middle in the whole time. Now, because of my chalice of healing, because of the fire giant, because of the sovereignty, we are just gonna be sustaining up like crazy. Throw down a little ward right here. Keep an eye out behind us for my Merlin, who's coming in a little bit late on this. I'm gonna try to stand in front of my Hachi to start tanking those auto attacks and hurt. And all of a sudden, just like that, now we've got all of their phoenixes down. We don't have any creeps actually here with us. We do have 40 seconds off of our fire giant, but the fire creeps haven't made their way up yet. So it's a little risky going for an end here. So what we should do is back up, quickly grab like all of their camps and stuff, and then get ready for the next fire giant. Actually, they might come out to contest their on red, but I am by myself, so I probably just need to get myself out of here. Find a way to get 100 more gold, so that way I can finish up my Pridven before the fire giant fight, preferably the 2400 gold plus an additional 120, so that way I can get Pridven and a sentry ward for the next upcoming fire giant fight.
You like my hair? My squirrel friend did it.
Enemy spotted!
All right, now that I've got the Pridven, I'm basically invincible to everybody but that Scylla. And with the 289, 198 protections, if I go ahead and pop my 2, you can actually see those protections go up to 325, 248. So if I do have that wisp on me, I'm just going to be absolutely unstoppable. Get us now a nice little sentry right on the fire. And just position myself a little bit aggressively so nobody can sneak in onto my Hachi and my Merlin in the backline. Maybe even somebody like Adher runs up trying to clear that hashtag one more wave and he gets himself caught out. Who knows?
On my way.
Attack fire giant.
Actually, Scylla right here are gonna be in a lot of trouble. I'm gonna go ahead and jump myself into the back line. I might be able to reach him with the root. I'm gonna be able to. Still gonna call for us to go back for that fire giant, but we probably can go from the fire giant right into ending the game. It shouldn't even take us that long. So the second we do this, shouldn't take us longer than like maybe 10 seconds. Then we go ahead and shove it right down the middle lane. We've got 40 seconds on Scylla's death, and we should be able to put this one away with all of our fire creeps. So now that Scylla is dead, there really shouldn't be anybody on their team that can even kill me. Maybe the Adher with some lucky crits. I'm gonna call for the attack the Titan. I'm gonna start tanking the Titan for my team. Pop that chalice a little bit early. Teams, everybody's coming in. Pop the 2 early, so that way we all have the bonus protections. Pop the shell for minus damage. And we're gonna be able to take down the Titan, no problemo. So you can kind of see the flow of the game for Sylvanus. Early game wasn't so bad. We had some pretty good clear. Mid-game, things slowed up a lot. We were really just looking for some like fancy pulls. And then in the late stages of the game, we were just peeling for our backline like crazy, providing a lot of frontline, mostly just tanking objectives while trying to sit there and peel for our Hachi man and our Merlin, who were doing all of the damage basically for our team in those fights, while the assassin and the warrior just W keyed into the back line and did damage on theirs, guys. And that is our Sylvanus support guide. Thank you for supporting the Twitchiest community. If you'd like to see more videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel and always hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. Thank you for all your support and have a Twitchin' day, y'all.